Let's speak to somebody that I've been excited to speak with all day. She's got a new book out that's got a positive vibe. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise and say hello to the legendary Marie Currie. Hi, Marie.
How you doing there, buddy?
I am doing awesome. How are you?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. It's a beautiful night here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, wow. You're in Vegas.
I am in Vegas, yes.
How long have you resided there?
Just over 2 years.
Okay.
How do you like living in Vegas?
Well, I'm definitely not down where the moving and grooving is. I'm up in Anthem in a 55 and over community where it's kind of quiet.
Well, that's kind of cool because, I don't know if I can handle the hustle and bustle of Vegas. I go to L.A. and about 3 or 4 days into L.A., I'm ready to lose my mind.
Oh, my gosh. Trust me. I lived my entire life in Los Angeles, and the crowding was terrible, the traffic, everything, and this is like a whole different world, and I never go to the Strip unless my kid's playing there. So.
There you go.
Right? Yeah, we live in Southern Oregon, in the middle of the mountains, and that's our speed.
I'm jealous, Tracy.
Come visit anytime, man.
Well, thank you, and vice versa. I have a casita here if anybody is in Vegas and they want to get away from all the hoopla.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Yeah, we're a few hours away from Portland, so when we want to get, crazy, go to a concert or something, we just drive up to Portland or down to San Francisco and come back to the mountains.
You want to talk about crazy? That's San Francisco. Been there, done that.
Right,
but
right.
Oregon,
I'm sure.
You're blessed to live in such a gorgeous place.
Thank you so much. I was just looking today. The Reverend was showing me I had seen some of your artwork online, but I got to admit, I hadn't seen the guitar stuff.
Really?
Oh my God. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It's incredible.
Well, thank you. And it's I don't know how people are going to take this, but it's a lot of my spirit guides. That's what I've made. I just sold my 818th piece.
No doubt.
And let me tell you, they're all different. And I'm very spiritual that way, and they kind of come through me, and I positively love what I do.
Well, man, this is kind of weird, but I'm real fond of owls, and I just kind of consider the owl to be my spirit animal. And the first guitar that I saw was
the steampunk.
Yeah, with the owl on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
Well, that belongs to one of my number one collectors. Actually, my number one collector, Lisa Fanslow, who owns over 100 of my pieces. So. She just, people just love them. They feel from them, They get a real a sense, there's a part of me in it, but they touch people, and it's I couldn't love what I do more. So
that's great, and to be in, what more can you ask for? To be doing something that you love to do.
Oh my gosh.
And be good at it.
It's about time. I loved being a mortgage banker for 14 years. I was successful at it, but I couldn't do it anymore. Life is short, Tracy, and it's a scary thing to all of a sudden go, you know what, I've been an artist all my life. I'm going to do that, and I'm blessed to be able to make a living.
It is short, man. It is short, gosh. And, you start to realize that when you get to be, in your 40s and 50s, and you start to lose friends here and there. You're like, wait a minute, we're still like young,
Right.
It's it's really freaky.
It's so part of life. And I think once you really understand that, it is what it is, and you accept it, and because it's been going on forever, and we learn everything we can while we're here, and we pass as much love on as we can while we're here, and hopefully that love is carried with others when we're gone.
And that's all we can do, right?
There you go.
Boy, I love you, Marie.
Aw, is that Buddy? That is Buddy. Where's Reverend? I've been waiting to meet Reverend Moody.
That's me.
Oh,
It's the same person. I'm the same person.
Oh,
You can just call him Sybil.
That's unfair.
You can just-
Barking at 60. Come on now.
You can just call him Sybil.
Okay, well, what do I call you?
Most people call me Reverend Derek Moody.
Okay, is Reverend Derek okay with you, or Reverend Moody?
Or either way, or just Derek, whatever's good for you.
Works for me. All right.
Something that caught my eye, and I'm going to be honest, I've followed you, I've followed your sister's careers for many, many, many years, and I'm a pop culture guy, so I do know a lot about, like, you know, your life, the things you've done. But the one thing I haven't done is I have not read The Narrow Road of Light, your book.
Well, you know, if you want a book that will make you, it's a spiritually driven book.
That's why I want it.
And it's at thenarrowroadoflight.com. It's a self-published book. I published it myself, and I started writing it in 1992, actually from a very low time in my life. I had just left Steve Lukather of Toto, one of the, I'm sure you guys know who Toto is.
And, yeah, you were married to him for how long?
So we were together 13 years, married 10.
And Steve, what does he play in Toto?
He's the guitarist.
Okay.
And singer.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Can I ask you this real quick?
Sure.
Do you miss the rains down in Africa? I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Africa's become so huge. If I hear that one more time, I think I'm going to have to strangle her.
I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it actually came from a very dark place. I was in my first apartment ever in my life, and it was in Marina del Rey, California, and I had a view of the ocean, and I was going through a very depressed state. And the full moon had come down upon the ocean, and I saw this road of light, and I, at that moment, believed that if I actually went down there and started to walk, I could walk on that road. And that is what was the beginning of this beautiful book. You know, I immediately started writing this poem, "The full moon casts electric blue throughout the star-filled night, reflecting down upon the sea a road that's made of light." And the poem goes on and on. I'm not going to bore everybody, but then all of a sudden, I believe it was my angels wrote it with me. It took 2 years to get it right, and it's a feel-good, wonderful way of looking at things. It really is.
So would you say, is it fair to describe the book as being nonfiction fiction?
You know, I've got to be honest with you. You know, well, they might put me in a rubber room if they read the book and say, "You think this is real?" I don't really think any of us truly know what's real. So it is a nonfiction fiction as far as I'm concerned. I think that possibilities are endless, and we won't really know the truth until that last breath, right?
That's right.
So this book is really about that, and it's a lovely story about a lovely family, and so far people have positively adored it, and a lot of tears, but always tears of happiness, and that's what I prefer, is tears of happiness.
So the narrowroadoflight.com
correct
is, if somebody wants to do some browsing on the net. And can I ask you this? Do you have a particular spiritual path, like, say, Buddhism or Hinduism, that you subscribe to? Or what's your denomination, if you have one?
It's my own. And
Good answer.
My helpers, my spirit guides, my angels, I can actually hear them. I've been able to do that my entire life. Maybe being a twin had something to do with it. With my sister and I, we never even had to speak. We telepathically understood what was going on with each other, so I think I was born with that ability to hear our angels, and what I've raised my children to listen. You know, everybody calls it their intuition, and I think that's garbage. I don't think there's any such thing as their intuition. I think it is much larger than that. And when you lose your set of keys and you're late for that meeting, thank God that they're making you late for that meeting, because it takes 1 second for your life to be altered forever. And so everyone needs to slow down. If things are slowing them down, let it happen, you know?
Yeah, words of wisdom.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's never failed me. And every story that I hear of people that were like, well, I had that feeling I shouldn't go, and you know, it's like, well, then why didn't you listen?
Yeah, you have to listen to yourself, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and your spirit guides, your guardian angels. I was raised Catholic. Of course, as you notice, I make crosses, and I make crosses that of all sorts. Steampunk crosses, beautiful crosses with angels, fairies. You know, to me, I had a gal that seemed to actually be taken aback by some of my work because she said that only Christ should be on the cross, and I had to disagree with her because I think in this day and age, with the way our kids are being raised, not like us, where there was a cross or crucifix in every house, or anyone that went to church and was Christian or Catholic or so on. Now, I make it art that people don't have to be kind of embarrassed to show their faith. You know, it's part of them, too. If they love fairies, the fairies are on the crosses. Or, you know, I just go with my heart. And so far, it's worked very well. I'm making a fairy cross is a hip thing, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, super cool. Like I said, the art is awesome. But I also noticed, I'm like, how many people can say that they are a successful artist? They have been a successful mortgage banker, and also have had a song that charted on the U.S. charts. I don't know if a lot of people know that about you, but you did have a song along with your sister that charted on the U.S. charts, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was eons and eons ago.
Still cool, you know.
And it was fun, and of course, you know, and my husband being in the business, my husband then. So we were so blessed to work with the very best. Most of Toto was tracked that album.
Love Toto.
And you know, that was back in the beginning. Before, you know, I think Hold the Line had hit or something. But you know, so we were so blessed to have the very best of the best. And Steve played a lot on the album, and of course he's so well known for one of the best guitarists in the world. And so yeah, we were very lucky. It just was not for me.
Right.
It was definitely for my sister, but
Speaking,
it was not my road to walk, and I gave it a try and my best shot. But one, like Steve used to say, one of us in the business is more than enough.
Well, it sounds like you ended up right where you're supposed to be.
And I think that's with everybody in whatever they're doing. You know, I ended up exactly where I was supposed to be, and I have two unbelievable children, and my son now is really taking off in his father's footsteps. My daughter is absolutely beautiful, and Tina, and she's trying to have a baby, and life truly couldn't be better. And of course, Steve's career is just gone to the stratosphere, you know, with Ringo and everybody else. So life is great.
Very
and everyone's
cool.
healthy. That's the number one thing.
That's the number one thing.
amen.
You know, I had a question too. Of course, you know, when the Runaways movie came out, it was a huge deal. Of course, we're big fans of the music, always have been. But you know, Hollywood takes a lot of license. You never know if what you're watching is the way things really were. And I know that you had said, I know you and your sister were very close.
Yes.
Would you say that the way it was portrayed in the movie was pretty accurate as far as the way things went down, as far as you know, your sister and your relationship went and your part in it?
Accuracy.
Well, that really depends on which part you're talking about. Of course, a lot of it, to me, it was not the way I remembered it. If it wasn't exciting enough, the producers were going to change it, and they were going to change what they wanted to change.
Right, right.
I was very close with her, unbelievably close with her, and she did suffer from a lot of addiction back then, and so all that stuff is true. But you know, I used to stick up for her, and when she was bullied a lot in school because she was so different, and I don't really remember if they portrayed me as sticking up for her or being embarrassed. I was certainly not embarrassed, but you know, again, it's been a long time since I've seen the film, and I did have to bite my tongue a lot because a lot of it was like, that never happened.
Yeah.
But, Hollywood is going to do what Hollywood wants to do.
What did you think about the chick, what was her name, Riley, that played?
Riley. That's Elvis's granddaughter.
Really?
Wow.
That was her first film ever, and oh my God, I love her.
Is that Lisa's daughter?
It is. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes, and she was just magic.
She was really good in that movie. She was awesome.
She was positively phenomenal, and Ben, her brother, is my son Trevor's best friend, and so you know, it was her very first film ever, and her career took off from there, and
it did not show.
Proud.
It didn't show that it was her first movie at all. She was awesome.
She's a natural.
Absolutely.
And she really cared to meet with me, and we went to dinner, and we hung out a lot. And as I said, I would go in her trailer, and we'd read lines. But she did a phenomenal job. And again, she was a natural, and I love her to this day. So
that is so cool.
To her.
I only have two questions regarding the Runaway stuff that are pretty basic.
Uh-huh.
One was, when is the last time that you actually performed or sang with your sister?
Oh my! Well, way too long ago to even remember.
Wow.
My gosh, I don't. I mean, when I left Capitol Records, was pretty much the last. I mean, I did a couple where she called me up on stage a couple of times. I think maybe in the 90s, early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
91, 92 at the Whiskey or something like that. I would do one song with her.
Didn't you get up with Jackie and Sandy West and do a couple songs or something somewhere?
Never with the Runaways, no.
Okay, I was thinking that I had heard that you had performed with Jackie and Sandy somewhere at a reunion or something at one point, but maybe I must have got that wrong. Sorry about that.
If I did, I forgot. And
this would have been 97.
Did you ever dance on American Bandstand with your sister?
Yes.
Great story.
We did. Are you kidding? I mean, we used to go and do American Bandstand. We loved it. It was so much fun.
You know, one of our regular listeners, Ron Blood, he said, you know, I used to watch that show, and I swear I saw them dancing on there.
Well, he was absolutely correct.
And you were also on Sha Na Na, correct?
Now, that was my favorite TV show ever.
Bowser.
And that was an absolute blast. And, you know, the Capitol had us on every flippin' television show there was, from
Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin. Yeah.
Merv Griffin, Dinah Shore, Mike Douglas. But Sha Na Na was just, that was my all-time favorite.
It was a fun show.
It was. It was a lot of fun. And, yeah, boy.
Okay, well.
How long ago was that? That's 79 or 80? I'm not sure.
Flashback.
Flashback.
I have to ask you this. What is your favorite Runaway song?
Oh, my God.
If you have one.
Well, I swear if I hear Cherry Bomb one more time, I think I would have blown my brains out. But I would have to say Cherry Bomb because it was their biggest hit. And my sister sings it every time she sings. So
and she's spot on. Still awesome.
Nobody can cover it like Cherie.
No.
So I would say that's it. That's probably my favorite all-time Runaways tune. And of course, you know that we lost Sandy all those years ago, which was devastating.
Sad.
And And I haven't seen Joan now. Last time I saw Joan was actually at the premiere of the Runaways movie in Hollywood.
Well, we've ran into her a couple times in the last year or so, having been fortunate enough to actually hang out with her after a couple shows. She's so busy all the time. It seems like she's such a hardworking person.
And very down to earth. She's very down to earth, and boy, has she got a lot on her plate. But she's a class act, and boy, her fan base is incredible.
They sure are very, very, very dedicated.
Yeah, she just turned 60, I believe, yesterday.
Well, I'm not too far behind her.
And I mean, and just like you, she looks amazing, just as you do. She really does, and she still never fails to put on a great show. We're really, really stoked that you called in tonight, Marie. I usually ask a question of all our guests that call in. I know, obviously you're an artist. It runs in your blood. You would probably be doing some other type of art if you weren't doing the type that you're doing. But I like to always ask our guests, if you could go back to, say, when you were 16, 17, start everything all over again, and you were to take a completely different path, a completely different career, what would you be doing right now? Is there, working with animals, or would you be a scientist? What is it? What else?
Well, I was a straight-A student before I had to leave school, and I had to leave school in order to help support the family, which, of course, they show in the Runaways movie. I got a job at Pup and Taco.
Yeah, you're working your butt off.
My daddy and so on and so forth. But my dream was to be a journalist. That is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a journalist, and but the Lord, He had His plan for me. I guess I had a lot to learn going through all these different career choices, and He was right to put me on. Maybe if He lets me come back again, I'll be a journalist.
Well, if your book's any indication, you would have been just as good at that as you are at what you do now.
Well, I would love to send you guys a book, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And I can't thank you guys enough for your time.
That's so nice of you. We'll send you.
Lovely.
Thank you. We'll send you our address offline on private message.
It sounds good. And if anybody wants it, it's at thenarrowroadoflight.com. And if anyone wants to see my artwork, I've got two sites, and that's Marie Currie Creations on Facebook and Marie Currie Creations on Etsy.
You guys heard that right here. Marie Currie Creations on Facebook and also on Etsy.
And thenarrowroadoflight.com. Class act.
There you go.
We've been
Thank you, Reverend Moody.
Thank you, Marie Currie.
And thank you, Tracy.
Thank you so much, and we'd love to have you on again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd love it. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and God bless you.
Many blessings.
You too, hon. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.